Imagine waking up one day, rummaging through a jar of old coins, and realizing one of those nickels could change your life forever. Sounds like a dream, right? But for some lucky people, that dream has become reality. Hidden among ordinary pocket change lies a rare 1967 no-mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel, a coin so valuable that it has fetched prices as high as $6 million. Yes, you heard that right. $6 million. And here's the kicker, you could be holding one right now without even knowing it. Now, before you rush to empty your coin jars, let's dive into what makes this nickel so incredibly rare and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums of money to get their hands on it. The 1967 no-mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel is special because it comes from a time when the U.S. Mint didn't use mint marks to identify where coins were produced. This was done to discourage coin hoarding during a nationwide coin shortage. But not all 1967 nickels are created equal, and a few rare specimens have unique characteristics that make them worth a fortune. One key factor that skyrockets the value of these nickels is their condition. Collectors are obsessed with finding coins in pristine, uncirculated states. So, if you have a 1967 Jefferson nickel that looks like it just rolled off the minting press, you might want to hold on to it. And don't just toss it back into your change jar, that would be like using a winning lottery ticket as a bookmark. And trust me, that would be a mistake you'd never live down. But here's the twist, even nickels that show minor signs of wear can still fetch impressive sums if they have rare errors. Some 1967 Jefferson nickels feature striking mistakes like double die obverse or off-center strikes. These errors happened when the minting machine slipped up, and they make these coins incredibly desirable to collectors. So, if you spot any oddities or unusual marks on your nickel, don't ignore them. They could be the key to unlocking a massive payday, and it gets better. Beyond errors and condition, another factor that can drive the value of a 1967 no-mint Mark Monticello nickel through the roof is its provenance, a fancy word for a coin's history and ownership. If your coin has an interesting backstory, like coming from a famous collection or being part of a once-hidden hoard, it can fetch even higher prices at auction. Who knew a tiny piece of metal could carry such a legacy? Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if your nickel is the real deal? And more importantly, how do you cash in if you have one? First, closely examine the coin under bright light. Look for crisp details on Monticello and Jefferson's profile. If it looks sharp and free of heavy wear, you could be onto something. Next, consider having your coin graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. These experts authenticate rare coins and assign them a grade that can make or break their value in the market. And yes, that grading step is crucial, because no one is handing over millions of dollars without proof your coin is legit. And if you do discover a treasure hiding in plain sight, don't settle for the first offer. Auctions, especially online ones, can ignite fierce bidding wars, pushing prices sky high. Some collectors are willing to pay whatever it takes to complete their collections. Picture it, your old nickel sparking a battle between millionaires. That's a real possibility in the world of rare coins, but here's the chilling reality: if you don't check your old coins carefully, you could unknowingly give away a fortune. Imagine handing over a $6 million nickel as change for a cup of coffee. It sounds crazy, but it's happened before. And once a rare coin slips through your fingers, there's no getting it back. So, take this as your wake-up call. Check your pockets, search your drawers, and inspect every nickel you find. Because the next million-dollar discovery, it could be sitting right under your nose. And if you think finding one rare coin is a once-in-a-lifetime event, think again. Hidden gems like the 1967 no-mint Mark Monticello Jefferson nickel are still out there, waiting to be found. The question is, will you be the one to find them, or will you let life-changing wealth pass you by? The clock is ticking, and every unexamined nickel could be a missed opportunity. So, what are you waiting for? Your fortune might be closer than you think. Your spare change, only to discover it's worth up to $5.7 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? But that reality is closer than you think. And if you don't know what to look for, you could be holding on to a fortune without realizing it. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and astonishing world of the 1992 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel. By the end of this video, you might be rushing to check your coin jar, because one rare detail could change your financial future forever. Now, before you brush this off as just another old nickel, let me tell you something. This isn't your average 5-cent piece. This nickel is special, and collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums for it. But here's the catch: only a few of these rare nickels exist, and they're hiding in plain sight. So, what makes the 1992 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel so valuable? It all comes down to a rare minting error and specific design details that most people overlook. Imagine knowing exactly what to search for while others unknowingly toss away their potential millions. The 1992 P nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint. While millions of these coins were produced, a rare few were struck with errors that make them worth a fortune today. One of the key factors that drives their astronomical value is the full steps designation. What are full steps? Picture the iconic Monticello building on the reverse side of the nickel. If you look closely, you should see a staircase leading up to the entrance. In most nickels, those steps appear blurry or incomplete due to the mass production process. But on a full steps nickel, the lines are sharp and perfectly defined, at least 5 or 6 steps clearly visible. Why does that matter? Because finding a 1992 P nickel with full steps is like discovering a needle in a haystack. Only a small handful exist in pristine condition, and coin collectors are in fierce competition to get their hands on one. And when competition drives demand, prices skyrocket. But full steps aren't the only thing that makes this nickel valuable. Some 1992 P nickels were struck with misalignments, double dies, or other minting errors. These imperfections, while seemingly minor, can add tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to a coin's value. Here's a question for you: when was the last time you really looked at your pocket change? Most people don't give their nickels a second thought, but imagine how you'd feel if you realized you tossed away a coin worth millions. That sinking feeling. You don't want to experience it. Now, let's talk about the real numbers. In recent years, a 1992 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel with the coveted full steps designation in pristine condition sold for an astonishing $5.7 million at auction. That's not a typo. $5.7 million. Think about what that kind of money could do for you. Pay off your mortgage. Retire early. Travel the world. All because you took a few extra seconds to examine a simple nickel. And here's the kicker: these coins are still out there, waiting to be found. So, how do you identify a potentially valuable 1992 P nickel? Start by inspecting the Monticello steps under a magnifying glass. Look for those clear, uninterrupted lines. Next, check for any unusual markings or errors on both sides of the coin. Even minor imperfections could mean major payouts. And if you do find a promising nickel, don't sit on it. Coin values fluctuate, and the longer you wait, the greater the risk of missing out. Imagine someone else cashing in while your fortune gathers dust in a drawer. Here's something else to keep in mind: even if your nickel doesn't reach the $5.7 million mark, many examples have sold for thousands or tens of thousands of dollars. And wouldn't you agree that's still a pretty incredible return on 5 cents? You might be wondering, where should you sell a valuable coin like this? Reputable auction houses, online marketplaces specializing in rare coins, and professional coin dealers are your best bets. But whatever you do, don't rush to the first buyer who makes an offer. Knowledge is power, and knowing your coin's true value puts you in control. Before you go, here's one last thing to consider. The next time you receive change at a store or rummage through that old coin jar, pay attention. A life-changing fortune could be hiding in plain sight, and the only thing standing between you and millions is a little curiosity and a keen eye, because in the world of rare coins, lightning can strike when you least expect it. And when it does, you don't want to be the one left wondering what could have been. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your nickels. Your million-dollar discovery might be closer than you think. It could change your entire financial future. Sounds unbelievable, right? But what if I told you that a simple 1993 Monticello Jefferson nickel could be worth up to $5.50 million? Yes, you heard that right, one coin, a life-changing fortune, but here's the catch, most people have no idea what to look for. And while they're unknowingly spending their fortune on a cup of coffee, the lucky few who know the secrets are cashing in big. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this nickel so valuable, how to identify if you have one, and most importantly, how to sell it for top dollar. So stick around, because missing this information could mean losing millions. Let's rewind the clock to 1993. Bill Clinton had just stepped into the White House, Jurassic Park was breaking box office records, and somewhere in the U.S. Mint, an error occurred that would make history. A small mistake during the minting process led to the creation of an ultra-rare 1993 Monticello Jefferson nickel, a coin so rare that most collectors would pay a fortune just to get their hands on it. Now, you might be wondering, what makes this nickel so special? It all comes down to minting errors and striking anomalies. Some 1993 nickels were struck with an off-center design, double die obverse, or even missing elements on Monticello itself. These mistakes, though tiny, skyrocket the coin's value, and here's the kicker, the more pronounced the error, the more valuable the coin. Some of these nickels with unique errors have already fetched millions at auction. Imagine holding one of these in your hand, a small piece of metal that could buy you a mansion, luxury cars, or even early retirement. All from a nickel. So, how do you know if your 1993 Jefferson nickel is worth a fortune? First, grab a magnifying glass and check for these 3 signs. Number 1, look for double die obverse. This means parts of Jefferson's face or the lettering appear doubled. Number 2, examine Monticello. Are there missing or blurred lines? That could be your golden ticket. And number 3, pay attention to any off-center striking. If the design looks slightly shifted, you might be sitting on a goldmine. Now, if you find any of these signs, don't make the mistake most people do. Don't rush to sell it at a local pawn shop where they might undervalue your treasure. Instead, get your coin professionally graded. Organizations like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or the Numismatic Guarantee Company, NGC, can certify its authenticity and ensure you get every penny, or rather, every million, it's worth. You might be thinking, is it really possible to make millions from a nickel? The answer? Absolutely. In fact, in recent years, collectors have paid up to $5.5 million for a single, error-filled nickel. And with the rising demand for rare coins, values are climbing higher than ever. But here's where it gets urgent. These rare nickels won't stay hidden forever. As more people become aware, more coins enter the market, which can drive down the price. If you wait too long, you could be leaving life-changing money on the table. The time to check your spare change is now, and if you think rare coins are just an old-fashioned hobby, think again. Savvy investors and collectors know the truth. Rare coins are one of the most lucrative assets in today's market. While others gamble on stocks and crypto, those who understand coin values are quietly building generational wealth. So, the next time you empty your pockets, ask yourself this: what if one of those nickels could unlock a future you never thought possible? What if your fortune is already in your hands, you just don't know it yet? Don't leave it to chance. Check your 1993 P. Monticello Jefferson nickels today. Because in a world where one small coin can change your entire life, you can't afford to overlook the details. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might be sitting on a hidden fortune. And stay tuned, because there are even more rare coins out there waiting to be discovered, and one of them could be yours. Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you there's a 1996 P. Monticello Jefferson nickel out there, quietly sitting in someone's jar of spare change, valued at a jaw-dropping $5.3 million? And here's the kicker: most people have no idea how to spot it. This isn't just another coin story. This could be your golden ticket. Because while millions of these nickels were minted, a rare and mysterious error has turned a handful of them into treasure troves. And today, I'm going to reveal how to identify if you have one of these million-dollar nickels hiding in plain sight. First, let's talk about what makes the 1996 P. Jefferson nickel so special. You might be wondering, why would anyone pay millions for a coin that's worth only 5 cents? Well, it all comes down to errors, minting mistakes that turn ordinary coins into rare collectibles. In the case of this nickel, there's a rare die variety that collectors are desperately hunting for. Imagine stumbling upon one of these nickels and not realizing its value. Wouldn't that be heartbreaking? That's why paying attention to the smallest details could change your life. Specifically, you'll want to examine the peak mint mark located just to the right of Jefferson's portrait. But the real secret lies in the coin's reverse, the Monticello building. There are subtle anomalies in the design that can mean the difference between 5 cents and millions of dollars. Now, before you rush to check your coin jar, let me tell you this: the difference between an ordinary 1996 P nickel and the rare variety can be as small as a barely visible doubling in the lettering or an unusual strike. These errors aren't easy to spot with the naked eye, but if you know where to look, you could be holding a fortune without even realizing it. And here's the crazy part: the record-breaking $5.3 million sale wasn't a one-time fluke. Collectors across the country are willing to pay extraordinary sums for these rare nickels because they complete their collections and elevate their status in the numismatic world. Imagine being the person who turns a nickel into millions. Sounds like a dream come true, doesn't it? Now, you might be asking, how do I know if my 1996 P nickel is the real deal? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Start by grabbing a magnifying glass and looking closely at the inscriptions. Pay special attention to the word Monticello. Doubling or a misalignment is a telltale sign. But if you really want to be sure, consider getting your coin authenticated by a professional grading service. A small investment in verification could unlock a life-changing payday. And if you're thinking, why should I care? Well, imagine finding a coin worth millions and not knowing its value. Someone else could stumble across it, cash in, and leave you wondering what might have been. Don't let that happen to you. By now, you're probably itching to check every nickel you've ever touched. But hold on, because there are other valuable nickels hiding in circulation. For example, wartime nickels from the 1940s contain actual silver, making them worth far more than face value. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Rare coins are out there, you just need to know where to look. So, before you toss another nickel aside, ask yourself, could this be the one? The next time you find a 1996 P. Jefferson nickel, take a closer look. Because buried in the ordinary lies the extraordinary. And your journey to unimaginable wealth could begin with the simplest coin in your hand. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Check your coins, get them verified, and who knows, the next life-changing nickel could already be sitting right under your nose. After all, someone has to find it. Why not you? 2002 D. Jefferson nickel could be worth up to $5 million. Yes, you heard that right. $5 million. And there are people right now cashing in on these hidden treasures while others let them slip through their fingers. The real question is, are you paying attention to the coins in your pocket? Here's the thing. Most people overlook nickels. They toss them aside, thinking they're worth just 5 cents. But there are rare coins out there, like the 2002 D. Jefferson nickel, that can change your financial future overnight. And if you aren't checking your spare change, you could be throwing away a fortune without even realizing it. But what makes this particular nickel so valuable? It all comes down to rare minting errors and unique characteristics that collectors are willing to pay an unbelievable price for. One tiny mistake at the Denver Mint in 2002 created a coin so rare that its value skyrocketed to millions. Imagine accidentally owning a piece of history that could make you a millionaire. Feels like winning the lottery, doesn't it? Now, before you rush to dig through your couch cushions, let's talk about the specific features that make the 2002 D. Jefferson nickel so desirable. First, the mint mark. The D located on the right side of Monticello indicates it was minted in Denver. But here's where it gets interesting. Coins with unusual die errors, like double strikes or off-center prints, can push the value into life-changing territory. Collectors are on the hunt for these unique imperfections. A slight misalignment in the lettering, a doubled image, or even a mysterious shadow mark can turn an average nickel into a jackpot. And the scarcer the error, the higher the payout. Some lucky individuals have already sold their rare 2002 D. Jefferson nickels for 6 or even 7 figures. Imagine handing over a nickel and receiving a check big enough to retire comfortably. That's the kind of financial windfall we're talking about. You might be wondering, how do you know if you have one of these million-dollar nickels? It all starts with a simple inspection. Grab a magnifying glass and look closely at the Monticello design. Any unusual doubling, extra outlines, or misprints could be a sign of a rare error. And don't forget to check the date and mint mark. The 2002 D is your golden ticket that if you do find something unusual, don't panic. Your next step is to get your coin professionally appraised. Qualified numismatic experts can verify the authenticity and rarity of your nickel. And trust me, if you have the real deal, coin collectors will be lining up, ready to pay top dollar. But here's where things get urgent. The market for rare coins is hotter than ever, and prices are skyrocketing. Every day you wait, someone else is cashing in on their hidden fortune. And with increasing demand, rare coins like the 2002 D. Jefferson nickel become even more valuable. So, if you have spare change lying around, now is the time to start searching. And let's be honest, isn't it worth a few minutes to check your coins when millions of dollars could be at stake? Imagine the regret of realizing you gave away a fortune without knowing it. Don't let that happen to you. But here's the kicker, even if you don't find $1 million nickel, there are plenty of other valuable coins waiting to be discovered. From rare pennies to historic quarters, your spare change could be a goldmine. And the only way to find out is to start looking. So, what are you waiting for? Go check your coins right now. That ordinary nickel in your hand. It could be your ticket to a brand new life. And if you want to learn more about other valuable coins hiding in plain sight, stick around. Your next discovery could be worth millions, and it's closer than you think.